Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream tonight. Um, it might be a bit of a quick one tonight because I've had my computer service today and to repair a fault, and unfortunately, I haven't had much time to prepare quite a lot. So, my apologies for this, but I do promise that I will make up in future streams. But there is still a little bit to talk about, and I will go through my GETTR. The title of the stream today is Let's Peak You, simply because I'm always trying to pique people, trying to get people to understand what the gender and trans lobby are doing. So yeah, that is one thing that I'll be doing tonight, going through quite a few things to make you understand, or to get you to understand really, why you should really become gender critical and critical of this gender nonsense that's floating around in schools, in education, in governments. So that is a title today, but it isn't going to be for an hour today because I just haven't got enough stuff that I've been able to prepare, so my apologies. But please do feel free to natter in the chat section, and we can have a talk about what you want to talk about. We can elaborate on anything, and yeah, let's have a real big chat about how to pick people, or what to say to people to pick them, and how did you pick people, or let's just pick people. So I have been asked to do a stream on the LGB Alliance court case, and the answer is yes, of course I can. However, because there is an existing case in session, I just think it would be inappropriate for me to comment on it whilst the court is in session at the moment. I don't want to prejudice the case in any way, because I know who's going to win, and but I most certainly will be doing a future stream on LGB Alliance court case very soon. So please do stay tuned. This is going to be a very, very interesting one. I recommend that people follow the tribunal tweets on Twitter. There is an account set up, and they've got permission from the court to put those tweets out, and it will make for a very interesting read. I can tell you, an extremely interesting read. I really think that mermaids probably realise that they've made a very, very big mistake by taking LGB Alliance to court to try and remove their charity status, but I think they'll find that out later on. But they're certainly making an ass of themselves, to say the least, but I'm going to be careful what I say on this particular stream. Yeah, so you can watch the case streaming live too. There's a lot of information about how to watch the actual case streaming live. Hello, Defiance. Hiya, thank you for joining me. Really appreciative when people join. I'm really grateful. Yep. So we will eventually. I might try and get an LGB Alliance stream out on Saturday, because I think it ends on Friday. See if we get judgment out, but we'll see what we can do about that. But anyway, this case has definitely been an eye-opener though. And it's like I say, I don't think mermaids have done themselves any favors by taking LGB Alliance to court to strip them of their charity status. But as always, I stand with LGB Alliance, and I say to LGB Alliance, keep up the great work that you are doing. And I know that you're making a lot of effort out there, LGB Alliance, despite the fact that people are trying to smear you and say that you're not doing anything. I know the work, I can see the work you're doing, and it's fantastic, and we know that it's working because we've got so many across the world that are trying to shut LGB Alliance down, whereas they don't seem to be shutting down any religious groups that are also against LGB and anti people. It's just LGB Alliance. LGB Alliance are a massive threat to some pathetic organizations around the world, and I think we've got some big fights ahead of us, and I'm proud that I support LGB Alliance. I'm proud to have given money to LGB Alliance, and I'm proud to have given some money to their crowdfunder for the case. The crowdfunder, by the way, is in the information below. Please do support LGB Alliance because there's going to be a big fight coming up after this case, which I'm confident they'll win. I shouldn't say that actually, but I'm confident they'll win. But there's going to be some big fights ahead, and there's going to be some very disappointed people out there that have been pushing utter nonsense on people for too long. But yeah, LGB Alliance are a rock. They really are. Um, so I would recommend that you contribute to Alliance's crowdfunder, which as I say, is in the information below. But after watching and reading these tribunal tweets, I think this will pique quite a lot of people. If it doesn't, I really want to know why, because I think mermaids and their ilk are making an utter fool of themselves. But I'm not going to say any more. Um, so yeah, if you can donate it, and more importantly, share. Please share this crowdfunder. Let's get this LGB Alliance crowdfunder shared everywhere so that they can make money. To pay the lawyers by defending their charity status. But this case is unbelievable. It's one of the ones. It's one of the cases that I think this is going to be reported in the newspapers and news for some years to come, and people are really making them fools of themselves. But I will say no more on that. I don't want to say too much, but I think we'll try and get one out. I will try and get one out, a stream out on Saturday for LGB Alliance. Failing that, it will be the week after, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's LGB Alliance court case. There is another case in session, and this has been tweeted again by the great Tribunal Tweets on Tribunal Tweets 2, and this is the Reverend Dr. Bernard Randall versus Trent College. Now, the Reverend Dr. Bernard Randall, if we remember, was sacked by his employer, Trent College, suing after he was reported as a terrorist. This is in the United Kingdom, and he was reported as a terrorist for his sermon simply questioning the LGBT alphabet soup activities, activists, should I say. He was just simply questioning what they were doing in a sermon, and he's been reported as a terrorist, which I find absolutely unbelievable. That's another case that's going on in another court, obviously. That's going to bring us some news, and I will be talking about that in future streams. There's a lot of nasty stuff going on out there, so yeah, I mean it's unbelievable really that what these trans activists and gender activists, which are one of the same thing, are trying to do to society. I'll be talking about another guy that's actually in prison now, and he's not in prison because he wouldn't use the preferred pronouns, but it all stemmed from that. And this guy is in prison in Ireland, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's what these gender activists are doing is real, really horrible stuff, and they're really disrupting society, and they're really trying to disrupt quite a lot of things. So do stay tuned, because I've got a lot of information in the future to bring out. But one of the things which really struck me this week or yesterday, I put out a tweet yesterday with regard to, and I hope I get the pronunciation right. It's Vozig. It's a Dutch feminist organization, and this organization, well, I've talked about it before on other streams, and I've tweeted and getted about it. They've had the bank accounts stopped and blocked simply for criticizing plans of a new transgender legislation that they're going to bring into the Netherlands, in the Netherlands, Holland. The Vorzig founder, Caroline Fransen, has said that this new law is the most significant danger for women. Um, So what's happened is that, they've simply spoke out like we're all doing in the United Kingdom, like they're doing in Scotland, and massively speaking out in Scotland, like they're doing out in Wales, like they're doing in America now, like they're doing all over the West. They're speaking out about this ridiculous trans ideology which they're trying to bring into law, and they've had the bank account blocked. And the tweet that I put out has gotten quite a lot of interest all over Europe and all over, the United Kingdom. It's got like quite a lot of interest. A lot of people are very concerned about what's going on in the Netherlands, with regard to this law. And I really do ask people, to research what's going on, to look at what's going on, and please do speak out, especially if you live in the Netherlands, because if this law gets brought in, I mean, we're going to have more accounts blocked. We're going to have more women, because it really is going to affect women. It's going to affect women the most, but it would affect people like me if I lived in Holland, because the trans lobby are not out for their rights. They're out to get everybody else. The trans lobby believe that they're above everybody else, and they want everybody else to be below them. And you speak out about anything about what they say, and these things are happening. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy. But yeah. So the new law that's been introduced in the actual Netherlands, it will just basically undermine the meaning of the term woman, and um, it really means that anybody can say, any man can say that they're a woman. They can access women's only spaces like changing rooms, showers, toilets, women's prisons, saunas, and safe houses for rape victims. It's absolutely crazy what that law can do, and it's just making it easier for men, easier for offenders to just get into women's spaces. And this is what they've been arguing about in the case in the LGB Alliance, um, court case. They've been arguing about this. This is exactly right. I mean, they're making it so easy for any sex offender to simply say, "Oh, I'm now a woman. I'm walking to all these spaces." I really don't think the Netherlands government, think what they're doing is. I just don't understand why the Netherlands government are doing this. I don't understand why any government would want to do this and harm women, which it will harm women in this way. It's really. I mean, at the moment, they can say, "Look, you're not a woman. Can you get out of our changing rooms?" So they won't be able to do that soon. It's terrible. And Defiance says that poor Vuz, sorry. Do people have to keep their savings under their mattresses now? Are banks no longer to be trusted? It's a very good question, because yeah, I mean, if this is what banks are doing, I mean, we heard about that in Canada, where people were donating to the it was oh the lorry, demonstration. People donated; they were getting their accounts suspended, and I think this is where we are. I mean, this is going to push crypto. It's gonna say, let's get back to cash, because banks can no longer be trusted if we can't, if we have the wrong type of opinion, our accounts are going to be shut down. They've done this in the United Kingdom. Barclays did this. Now, of course, I don't agree with conversion therapy for LGBT people, but there was a religious group that have had their account just stopped it, simply because Barclays said, "Oh, we're not going to allow you to have an account with us because you're converting LGBT people." Now, I don't agree with converting, but I think it really leaves a bad precedent that if Barclays can do that to them, okay, they can do that to me. You know what I mean? They can say, "Well, we don't agree with your streams. I mean, your streams are against trans ideology, and we don't agree with that. So we're not going to give you a bank account." You know what I mean? We're going to suspend your bank account. I mean, I could start making money out these streams, suddenly putting it in my account. Barclays could say, "No, we're not having you." These are very, very dangerous precedents, and people of all walks of life are going to be affected unless the government put in legislation to stop this. Now I wanted to absolutely say that I don't agree with conversion therapy in any respects at all, but the example I was using in the United Kingdom is that if they're going to do that to them, they can do that to anybody. They can simply say, we don't want to give you a bank account because we don't agree that, you're doing that or you're doing that. It's against our principles. It's a very, very dangerous precedent. um, precedent, a very dangerous precedent indeed. And this is where we're going. It's all this is a disaster waiting to happen. And this has particularly been forced on the people of the Netherlands, by forcing an ideology on people, you know what I mean, that's gonna damage women, it's gonna damage children, this is not in the interests of women, children, gay people, or anybody. This is solely in the interests of men who want to access women's spaces, and that's it. It's a very, very dangerous law, and that's the only people this is helping. It's trampling over everybody's rights so that a man can say, "I'm now a woman, and I'm now gonna use your space." I don't understand what's going off in the Netherlands. I don't understand what's going off in the Western world. I'm very, very confused. I really am. I mean, I'd like to say what sort of a government would inflict this pervert nonsense on their own people, but sadly, it's quite a lot of governments in the West. I mean, Scotland are at it. They're trying to bring in a similar sort of thing to what the Netherlands are going to do. Why? I mean, trans people have got the rights. Transsexuals who change sexes had all those rights. They could use women's spaces, which they had all those rights. They're blowing it. You know, now there's massive campaigns of lots of women and men like me all over the world that are now campaigning to get, well, at least to get back to the Equality Act, but to stop anybody identifying as a woman and just simply using spaces. It's completely and utterly wrong. It really is. Whether transsexuals should have had the right to use women's toilets in the first place, we can debate about that. But certainly we cannot give a right, okay, to any man who says he's a woman and just walking in spaces. I personally don't believe that males should be in women's spaces at all. And that's my personal opinion. I hope people can understand that. I hope people can understand why. I mean, why we're allowing males in women's prisons, for instance, in women's rape centres. This is terrible what we're doing to women. It's very, very bad what we're doing to women. It's totally unacceptable. Right, so I'm going to move on to some of the things now what I wanted to talk about. But again, if you're out there, you know what I mean, and you've got information how you could pique people, you've got your stories how you were piqued. Actually, I'd be interested to know how you were piqued. I mean, do put that in the comments. Let me know how you were piqued, because I can use that on people, because there's a few people contact me from time to time, and I would like information on our, I mean, I always send them to my Twitter account and my GETTR account and say, have a read of that, and look at this, look at that, look at this is what the gender lobby are doing. You need to sort of look into what they're doing, research what they're doing, and you'll be peaked. There's many people becoming peaked now. Many people are concerned about what's going on. So yeah, so we were talking about the law. I mean, that the new law in the Netherlands. I mean, that's a. Hello, Amy. Nice of you to join us. It's no problem you're late at all. It's great that you're here. I was just going to say that because I've had my computer service today, I haven't got too much material to read out, but hopefully I'll be able to sort of carry on. I'm not going to discuss the LGB Alliance court case because it's an ongoing case, and I didn't want to, talk about a case which is ongoing. But what I'm going to do is, I think the case ends on Friday, and I might talk about LGB Alliance on Saturday and make it, talk about it on Saturday and get a complete stream on LGB Alliance, because there is so much to talk about with this particular case. It really, I mean, I really think that mermaids have made such a big mistake by taking LGB Alliance to court. They're making such a fool of themselves, and so are the people in there as well. And I think the coverage of this is just going to go on for months, if not years, about what has been said in that courtroom. I find it unbelievable. But I mean, I could have predicted this, really. I really could have predicted it, but I don't think LGB Alliance has got any problems whatsoever. But I'm going to keep LGB Alliance under wraps and not say anything until maybe on Saturday or the week after. But we'll see what happens on Friday, and then I might be able to talk about it on Saturday. That would be it. So the next one I wanted to bring out, if and to be honest, I mean America's getting peaked with regard to this gender and trans ideology. Um, America is starting to wake up. Really proud of that. I do have American women contact me occasionally. Um, at first, they were asking, you know, why are you against these? Why are you against Stonewall? Why are you? And I think now I'm not getting that anymore. I'm getting th- the impression that American women are waking up and they're actually realizing what's happening, and we've got these furious we've got furious furious parents of blasted pensioner Biden, as I've nicknamed him. His Title IX plans. There's been a record-breaking 184,000 comments on the insidious proposal to refine gender ideology. It's really concerning a lot of people throughout America. I think sports definitely piqued a lot of people in America with males, biologically born males, invading women's sports, being given a platform to cheat and walking away with the medals. But now we've got this Title IX, sorry, where he wants to just redefine, which is not just dangerous to women, okay, and it is dangerous to women. This is not in women's interests at all. I mean, why any American woman would want to support this, I really don't know. But it's not just affecting women. It's not just affecting lesbians. It's affecting children. This would affect gay men. It would affect LGB people completely. This would affect heterosexual people. I mean, you've got to bear in mind that we don't know how far that this nonsense is going to go. I mean, we've got people in prison now because they're not obeying, pronouns. So it's quite a concern. Um, why it's quite a concern why Biden is trying to change these plans and redefine gender identity. I mean, I really think that if you're listening to this in America, you really need to wake up to what Biden is doing. He is ruining um, women's rights. He's ruining LGBT rights. He's actually ruining heterosexual men's rights. I mean, men, you know, really don't understand the damage that it's doing to their rights too. And I do ask these heterosexual men particularly to stand up, and protect your sisters, protect your mothers, protect your daughters, but above all, protect your children, because this Title IX isn't in the interests of any of them. This Title IX is a real concern. But I'm so glad that 184,000 comments was put. A record-breaking 184,000 comments was stuck on that proposal, which is good, because at least Americans now are waking up, and they're waking up to child safeguarding, they're waking up to saving women's sports, and they're waking up to see how bad Joe Biden is as a president. I never thought that America would succumb to a dangerous gender ideology like they have. But Biden is no friend to women, as we know. We know what he's done in Afghanistan. He turned his back on women. He's turned his back on LGBT people. He doesn't care about women. He doesn't care about LGBT people. And so it's time that you didn't care about him, because he's not a good president. But um, thankfully, people in America are waking up to that. So yeah, that's the Title IX rule. But good number of comments from seriously people that are concerned about everything. Little bit on no, we'll leave the LGB Alliance. Actually, I'm not gonna talk about that particular one. But there is another one that's come up which I can talk about, because that's been reported in newspapers. And one thing that came out of the case, is that the Tavistock are putting young gay people at risk by treating them as trans, which is what's come out of the court case. And we're going to have so much of this to talk about, maybe on Saturday or the week after, when this case is finished. But yeah, I mean, this is what a lot of us have been arguing about for a long time, that the Tavistock is putting young gay people at risk by treating them as trans. It's putting mentally ill people at risk by treating them as trans. It's there's many of the people that went to the Tavistock have got issues. There's abuse victims and everything, but to treat them as though they're trans, that isn't the way. This is so wrong and it's so horrible, what the Tavistock clinic was doing. And I'm so glad that it's closed down, but I'm so glad it was shamed. I'm so glad that the report said, the CAS report said that it wasn't safe for children, it was unsuitable for children, and it really wasn't. It wasn't safe for children. And I'm so glad it was closed. I know there's some opening up throughout the country, but I think there's a big fight now, and I think at least people are realizing what what clinics like these have been doing to our children. I mean, you put doctors, in charge of the medical profession, in charge of their medical duties, and you trust them, and they do things like this. We're going to see lots more detransitioners coming out, and that's in England alone, let alone in the Western world. There's more and more coming out, and there's going to be more. And this is shocking what we've done to our children. It's been described as one of the biggest medical scandals of our time, and it really is. I mean, this shouldn't have happened. But the Tavistock was quoted as not safe for kids. Um, and it's become a very controversial clinic. Um, I don't know whether I've mentioned it, but going slightly on the subject of LGB Alliance again, I have put the crowdfunder. I did mention it earlier, but I put the crowdfunder in there. Please do support the crowdfunder and help this professional registered charity LGB Alliance defend their charity state. If you can't afford anything, please share it, and let's get this out there, because I think this charity and this particular court case is going to be talked about for many, many years to come. The nonsense that the other side are spouting out is unbelievable. I'm going to be careful what I say, because I know it's an ongoing case, and I don't want to say too much. But yeah, on the subject of the NHS Tavistock Clinic, it's been argued that it's been wrongly convincing gay and bisexual people, that they're trans. That's what's come out of the LGB Alliance court case. There's quite a lot of other things come out, which we'll talk about on Saturday. But yeah, right. So let me. Okay, so I talked about this earlier. This is in Ireland now. So a teacher has been imprisoned in a transgender pronouns row. Now Enoch Burke has said that he won't purge contempt. So what's happened is that this guy has refused to affirm somebody's pronouns, and he'll only use the correct pronouns, and they suspended him for that at school. Now I know there's a bit of controversy in it, and I know I don't want to say that I know everything that's gone off, because there may be other things in this, but they have suspended him, and that was the main reason why they suspended him. The school actually, so he just ignored that, and I do understand it was the holidays, although I can't be totally correct. But in he started to go back to the school when they suspended him and told him that he couldn't go there. So they got a court order to stop him. Now, his only crime really is that he's just not affirming somebody's pronouns, school children's pronouns, which not really sure. I mean, since when did we make the law that children are allowed to change genders? I just don't think it's right, and I don't think teachers should be affirming that at all. So I agree with Enoch, really, that he shouldn't be affirming somebody's pronouns, especially under the age of 16. Although, we shouldn't have to do that. If somebody wants to change their pronouns, it's tough. We shouldn't have to be affirming them. And now, he's obviously he's not obeyed that court order. So they got a court order to stop him going to school, and he didn't think that was right. So he went back into the school, and the judge has now imprisoned him for that. And his argument is that he's not gonna purge contempt, and it's compelled speech that the school is forcing him to do, and this is absolutely right. I really think that they need to free Enoch Burke. I think it's very much of an injustice, really, what's happened. But I think again the case is getting worldwide notoriety, which is what he wants, so worldwide interest, um, and it's highlighting what's going on in schools. So yeah, that's what now somebody's don't use pronouns, or that's where it started from. So it's so wrong what's happening. Yeah. So that's something that this is something that will happen in the future to all of us if we don't affirm children's pronouns. It could do. Because from what I've seen from the trans lobby, they're getting worse. They're not getting any better. Um, right. So moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. We've got some new documents that have been have revealed. The controversial Stonewall have urged. This has passed. Somebody got a freedom of request a- um, freedom of request order to reveal what, because I think they refuse. They actually refuse to give this, and they've gone to court to get these documents revealed, to get them public. And it has actually they've revealed that this controversial Stonewall have urged Oxford University, okay, to stop referring to mothers as she, to win a higher place on its horrible gas employer scheme, the one that companies are leaving in. They're starting to leave. We've got a lot of government departments and the BBC. This is what they're leaving. Now, did Stonewall deny that they were doing this? Because I seem to think that Stonewall stood and said, "Oh, we haven't told anybody not to call, this, that, and the other." Because I seem to think they denied it. But these documents have that Stonewall have urged Oxford University and everybody else to stop referring mothers as she, and to start using gender things. So, gender speech and gender nonsense, really. And this is the proof that Stonewall are actually doing this. Um, what I'd like to know is, for anybody watching this who are on Stonewall's side, whether you're gay, whether you're lesbian, bisexual, or straight, and I know there are a lot of straight supporters in Stonewall now, especially in the trans sort of side of it. How is you know how is asking universities helping with gay how is asking with universities to stop them referring to mothers as she? How is that forwarding? How is that progressing gay rights? How is this progressing trans rights? You know, how? Because to me, I'm reading this and I'm disgusted what Stonewall have done, and I'm happy to carry on. You know, recommend that companies leave Stonewall, because this is not on. We've referred to mothers as she since time began. The human race have been doing this for quite some time. Why have we got to stop referring mothers as she, and on all the rest of the gendered language? Why? How is that helping people's rights? It's humiliating the LGBT community. It's turning people against the trans community, because the majority of people think this is nonsense, because it is nonsense. So let me know how this is helping people, how this is how this is moving rights forward, anybody's rights. Let me know how it is. My DMs, well, no, comment in the information. I don't want trans activists DMing me, because I will block if they do. But let me know in the comments why you think this is all right, because I think this is absolutely absurd. I really do. I think so wrong. Right. Okay. I'm moving on. We've got another one, actually. Let me just see if this is this is in America. It is. It's in America. That's right. Richard Bugg. This is another one about pronouns. So this is when compelled this is compelled speech again. It's taking a reality that it's absolute nonsense. But this is a theatre professor called Richard Bugg, and he's filed a lawsuit after being forced to use preferred pronouns. And he said, okay, asking people to use plural pronouns to refer to an individual as one thing, forcing them to do it is contrary. It, it's contrary to the rights of free speech. Now, forcing them to do it is another, and contrary to the rights of free speech. Yeah, I mean, this is another guy. There's another lawsuit of another guy that's been forced to use pronouns. What is this obsession with pronouns? It's like I keep saying, this pronoun palaver isn't pushing anybody's rights. It's not helping anybody's rights. It's it's making people very angry. I'm very angry that the gay lobby, which is now the trans lobby, I mean, the gay lobby are not doing this, it's the trans lobby, but they are speaking on the LGB platform. They are speaking on the gay rights platform, and they are forcing people to use, which GC people would say, incorrect pronouns. You know, they're forcing people to call a biologically born male a woman. Okay, and this is compelled speech. This is forcing, somebody to do it, and it is contrary to free speech. It is contrary to our rights to free speech. That's exactly what this is, and there's going to be more court cases coming out because people are not going to stand this. And if you've got pronouns in your bio, I want to give you some advice. Please take them out, because look at what's happening, and it will get worse. It will definitely get worse. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is not really progressing anybody's rights except annoying people. I'm not going to use pronouns in the bio, and I'm not really keen now on using pronouns which gender critical people would say is wrong pronouns for people. I'm not keen on doing it anymore. I mean, I would have, out of politeness, I'm not sure that I want to be polite anymore. Nobody's been polite to me. You don't see how they're speaking to me on Twitter. I mean, I've had more abuse on Twitter than most of my life. I think it's disgraceful. People really think this is all right. And women get a lot worse than what I do. I'm a guy. I mean, I've seen women getting a lot worse. I mean, they're screaming and shouting and trying to silence women. This isn't going to do anything for your rights, because no woman, no decent woman, no civilized woman would stand by and allow this to happen. They really wouldn't. And they're not going to allow it to happen. We're not going to allow you to do this. We're not going to allow you to force us to use pronouns, that are not with your birth sex. I mean, if you'd have politely asked people, but you're not going to force people to do this, because people are not going to do it. People are going to fight against it, and people are fighting against it. And now we've got court cases, and it's been highlighted, and it's anger, and now it's proved what's happening. More and more people are getting angry. More and more people have been peaked. They're being trans peaked and gender peaked, and that's exactly what's happening. Um, it's really bad. um what is happening in society, what's happening in the Western world is crazy, and it's because of a gender lobby that's pushing a gender theory, that's ridiculous, throughout the Western world. But I'm so glad that there is a fight back. I'm really proud of people. I'm so proud of people out there for fighting back. And there are so many women fighting back, but I'm seeing more and more guys fighting back. But if you're a guy out there, please do speak out, because it's not just, you might not think it's affecting you, but it is affecting you in quite a big way. But it's affecting your kids, it's affecting your sisters, it's affecting your mothers, it's affecting your grandmothers, it will affect your daughters. It really is affecting, it's actually affecting you. You know what I mean? You just don't realize it yet. But, once you start, once somebody asks you to use the pronouns and you think, well, I don't want to do that, you could end up losing your job. You could end up going to prison. It's going to get worse. It isn't going to get better. This pronoun situation, where they're trying to bring it in as compelled speech, if we don't stop it, it will be compelled speech and you'll be done for it. You'll be absolutely completely done, sued. You but a lot of people have got actually records in the United Kingdom for misgendering. Okay, in our what do you call it? The NCIHs, the non-crime 8 incidents. Yeah, I mean it's happening now. We need to stop this because this is not fair. When people ask for rights, we didn't, we don't ask for compelled speech. This is not the way. It's not the way. When lesbians, gays, and bisexuals asked for rights, okay, in the 70s and 80s, they didn't force people to say this and force people to say that. They just wanted to be, they just wanted to be who they wanted to be who they are. That was it. They didn't force people for pronouns. They didn't force themselves into the different changing rooms. They didn't force this. They didn't force that. This trans lobby, I think eventually this trans lobby will be defeated completely. But we can only do that if people speak out and if people campaign and if people speak to the government official and MP and, about what's happening. But please do that. Talking about this school chaplain again, this is a court case that's now currently ongoing, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful what I say about it. But it was a school chaplain who Dr. Reverend Dr. Bernard Randall. He's at college, as I mentioned earlier, because he's been sacked and he was reported for being a terrorist, which was a sermon for simply questioning LGBT alphabet soup activists. A bit like what I'm doing. I'm questioning what the LGBT alphabet soup activists are doing. And this guy was not only sacked, okay, they reported him to the police for being a terrorist. This is it's crazy. This is absolutely unbelievable. What has happened to this poor man? I do hope this is going to pique people. I do hope that there are people out there that are going to read this thinking, so disgraceful, so horrible. Dr. Bernard Randall did say that woke activists are eating away at the Church of England's guts, and yeah, if we allow these woke activists, these trans activists, gender activists to carry on, there will be no Church of England. And if that's what people want, well, that's what you're going to get, because there'll be no Church of England, because they are really going to wreck it. You know what I mean? And it's such a shame, but I really feel for this guy because this is so horrible, and this could happen to any one of us. All you need to do is say the wrong thing, and that's it. You're sacked, and there's no going back. You've been sacked from your job. All the years you've worked up for this job to get in the position that you're getting in, and then you get sacked because you've misgendered somebody, or you get sacked because you've questioned what a ridiculous LGBT alphabet soup movement are saying. I mean, and you get sacked, and then you get called up. You then reported as a terrorist. This is the future unless we stop it. So please do speak out, because this is so wrong. It's horrible. It really is. But yeah, so good luck to him. And that is a court case, an ongoing court case. So good luck to him. And I will be discussing this in the future, in future streams. I will be bringing, the doctor, Bernard Randall, up in future streams about what's happened, because I really think that this is so wrong. What I really want to know is how reporting him as a terrorist because he simply questioned the LGBT alphabet soup activists, how is that improving gay rights? How is this moving gay rights? How is this helping trans people by accusing terrorists because they simply question what you're doing? So wrong. I wish him all is well in his court case as well. I really do. I'm going to go. I'll mention this actually. I've mentioned it in the other stream because this was announced about a week ago. But the Welsh Rugby Union has followed suit with the English and the Irish rugby union, and they've amended their policy on trans players based on current medical and scientific evidence. And that what that means is that males play males uh, uh, rugby, close contact rugby, and females play in their close contact rugby. And that's all it means. It just means that, that's how it is and that's how it should be. They haven't, a lot of people keep saying, oh, trans women are banned. Trans women, okay, which are biologically born males who have had plastic surgery or they've taken hormones and they wear women's clothes, okay, um, it just means that they play in the right category. Okay, but they're saying that trans women are banned. Okay, well, I've heard this. They're not banned. They just play in the right category. They just play in the male category, which is what they are, male. And nothing can ever change that. You can't get rid of that XY chromosome. They've got the XY chromosome, okay, and that's it. You're male, and that's it. You've got a biological advantage. It's not fair that you play in female sport when you're male. It's cheating. Or you've been given a platform by sporting bodies to cheat. It's that simple. So at least now women's contact rugby in Wales, England, and Ireland is as it should be for females only. That's it. So biologically born males simply play in the male category, um, and nobody's banned from rugby. Simple. Now they are actually opening up another category where anybody can play, and they'll make it safer, and that's fine. You know what I mean? If women want to put themselves at risk with other men, in the open category, that's up to women. But if they don't have to, because they can play in the female category. So there was that. So that's Welsh Rugby Union, which are making it Welsh rugby safe, dignified, and a fair sport for women, and it's that simple. Yeah, and I think another thing, moving on into Scotland, that it's probably time now the Scottish government come clean with its people and told them about the gender reform legislation that will allow any man to be recognised as a woman in law if he declares himself so. It's a dangerous and anti-women legislation, and that's on its way to Scotland. And it's time that Nicola Sturgeon and SNP politicians, as it was, just basically was honest with the people, because I don't think really I mean, I think there's a lot of Scots out there that are fighting. There's a lot of Scots that are saying, we don't want this legislation in, but I think there's a lot of Scots don't realise what that legislation is. They just think it's on the lesbian, gay, and bisexual platform, and they just think it's through that, and it's not. This is a totally separate subject, and this is harmful to kids. It's harmful to women, and yeah, Nicola Sturgeon needs to come clean about um, what that legislation entails, because I don't think every single Scot understands what that is about. And then I'm going to go on to something that happened a week ago. I'll just chat on about that. Was the really filthy, dirty trans activist that left 60 bottles of urine outside of the EHRC, that's the Equality and Human Rights Commission building, which was a graceful protest, which they're protesting to say, I mean, I'm not really sure what the protest was about, really, because they're arguing that, apparently Liz Truss is going to ban anybody that hasn't got a GRC from women's toilets. I mean, why are people using women's toilets if they haven't got the GRC? That's what I'd like to know. I thought that you had to have a GRC to even be allowed in there. Well, that's what they're arguing about. But it's such a filthy protest. But it really does show you what trans activists are like. So it's all about peaking people tonight. You know what I mean? This has got to peak. It's mass massive, horrible, filthy, in fact, um, protest of somebody that left 60 disgusting bottles of urine outside of a building. And, they're not thinking of the cleaners, the poor cleaners, the poor low paid cleaners have got to clean all this up. These people are, it's just disgraceful. It really is. It's just totally unnecessary. And if this is a protest, I mean, it's just filthy. But this is what the trans activists are doing. This is what they're about. This is what trans activists do. Um, it's time to not support trans activists because they're not doing our country a favor. They're not doing society a favor. They really they're pushing nonsense and trying to bring down the very fabric of our society. So yeah, I mean, let's get rid of, let's get rid of this lobby, by not supporting it. And that's it. And I haven't put the petition in the information, okay, but there is a petition that's asking the UK government. You've got to live in the UK to sign it. It's not in this particular stream, but I'll mention it anyway. I might as well carry on. And it's asking the government to protect women's access to swimming by ensuring a safe single-sex or private changing facilities. Um, you know, Please do sign that. It's on my GETTR account, it's on my Twitter account, it's on other streams. Please do sign it if you haven't done, and let's show our government, that we really want safe spaces for women. It is over 10,000 already, so the government will or have done respond to that petition. I know the government have got a lot of things on at the moment with Her Majesty, the Queen dying, and that will take a lot of their time. But they have got over 10,000 on this, so hopefully we will. They'll get a reply, which is really good. So yeah, there's um, not really anything else that I haven't discussed. I think everybody's in the know. There's just the Posey Parker. So the LGBT alphabet soup mob uh, are really disgraceful, really horrible people by wishing cancer on somebody's children, and that's what they've done. They've said a lot of other things as well. It's not, what sort of a community would do. And I think it's time now that lesbians, gays, and bisexuals particularly stood up and said, "This isn't us," because whoever's in this LGBT alphabet soup mob are not really very nice people by doing this. And it's time that you stood up and said that this is wrong. I, as usual, stand with the great Posey Parker, aka Kelly J. Keane. And I wish her all the all the best. In She's going down to Brighton. I don't think it's this Monday. I think it's the Monday after. I wish her all the well with that. I can't make it. I'd like to be there myself actually, but I can't make it. But it's I do ask that the police, that especially Sussex police, who are actually probing the threats and the violence against Kelly J. Keane, aka Posey Parker, and I do ask that they take them very seriously and that they give her the protection, because these masked LGBT alphabet soup mob are becoming a danger really to women and their rights and society in general. So, like I say, if you are LGB, a lesbian, gay, bisexual, make sure you speak out, because these people are doing it from your platform. These people are doing it on your platform, and it's making it sound as though it's your rights, and it's your activism that's doing all this. So speak out, because I've been approached by several people who have said to me, "Why are gay people doing this?" And it's like, well, actually, gay people are not doing this. It's not specifically gay people. This is a new trans lobby. This is a new gender lobby. A lot of the people in it are straight, and they're heterosexual people that are making the LGB platform look silly, stupid. they're making the LGB platform look a disgrace. So you need to get these people off it, and you need to speak out. If you don't speak out, you're at risk of losing your rights, because people out there are thinking, okay, that it's the gay people and the bisexual, the lesbian people that are doing all this. You know, you start going on to I mean, I'm on a lot of social media sites, and people are saying, firstly, they were legalized. You know what I mean? Firstly, gay people got legalized. You know, then they got gay marriage. Now they're transing kids. They're blaming gay people. So if you're gay, you know what I mean, and you don't speak up, and not enough of us, not enough gay, lesbian, and bisexual people speak up, okay, we're going to get the blame and we're going to lose rights, because all this trans business, all this what they're doing to children, all this what they're doing in sports, you know, and what they're doing in women's spaces, all the people who are going to get the blame are gay people. So do speak out. I know there are some gay people that are embarrassing themselves by speaking out about this. I'm not going to mention who they are, but there are some very high profile people. They're not doing the gay rights movement any good at all. I'm not actually sure they're doing trans rights movement any good, but again, speak out. So I'd just like to thank everybody for joining me. I know there's been a few coming in and out today. I'd like to thank everybody who watches this on later on, or watches it on other platforms. This is cross-platform. I don't think this video is going to go too many places, but a lot of my videos are going to a lot of different platforms. I really do appreciate you watching. I appreciate you liking the videos. I appreciate you commenting. Let's get this stream up. Let's get this stream national. You know what I mean? Let's get this stream big. Do you know what I mean? To peak more and more people, and we can do that by liking it, watching it, and yeah, just basically getting people to understand that, you know, we are against a gender lobby that's ruining our society. So thank you, Defiance, for joining me, and thank you, Abe, for joining me as well. Have a really good evening. I'm glad I managed to get on for nearly an hour anyway. I didn't think I would be able to today, because I've had my computer repaired again. My brand new computer repaired again, but it does seem to have fixed it. I've had no problems with it today anyway. So, but I'm so glad I managed to get a longer stream. Yep. So join me on Saturday. I will try and get the LGB Alliance stream up. Well, a chat about LGB Alliance and what's going on, because I think there is so many things to talk about on that, on what's happening with that court case. But for now, I'm going to end the stream, and I will see you all on Saturday. So thank you for joining, and have a great evening.